Order. First item of business is we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and Councilman Long will lead us in those.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do the pledge of allegiance to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, sir. Tonight our invocation will be led by Pastor David Whitman.
Yes. Our Father in heaven, we come with great excitement, anticipation, and it's all flagged by a calendar flip. The 1st of January comes with hope. It's kind of like the Day of Atonement in the Jewish tradition. We get to start over, start new. Can't help but be optimistic. Father, we know that they're founded because we seem to be backing into our future. We keep looking behind and seeing what's been done, and we get a general idea. We have the favor of the Lord, and we are being led and blessed. We've been blessed with leaders that care, to govern well, to take authority without abuse, to take it and to demand respect in an honorable way, and citizenry, that the eyes and the ears, the hands and the feet of this community that takes citizenship seriously and wants to participate in the fair and balanced and just judicial system in the government. Father, we thank you that the balance can be struck between those who give and receive and those who are ruling over them. We just pray that it would work together in the community to create a sense of community. We pray that as this year marks a push towards getting to know neighbors and becoming neighborhoods, we pray that you would bless our efforts in this time. Father, I pray that we would continue as a community, and especially here in the council and all the members they represent through the committees and the workers and staff. Father, we pray we would continue to attack the problems and continue to not attack one another. For we are passionate about a better life for the citizenry and also our children, but we want to protect the peace. And so we ask for your wisdom. We ask that thing that you are, peace. You are truth, and you are the way. And we look to you for your guidance and your leadership. And we know that in so doing, it is worship to you. We ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. David, thank you for that prayer, also for your leadership. I appreciate you very much. And Monica, he was not saying that our fiscal year starts in January from this point forward. We still have an October 1st date. Where's our CPA? He didn't laugh about that. I thought he might laugh. But. Next item, citizen general discussion. We have one person tonight. Donna, would you come up and state your name and give us your address, and you have 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Or give or take.
I'm Donna Wesson. I live at 1325 Lydia in the city. You know, when I thought about coming up here today, I thought, I can do this. But then I get up here, my heart's going like this, and you're not 6th graders. I need for you all to be 6th graders.
We can act that way.
Yes, I know. I've seen that. I really need to thank all of you for all the work that you have done in all the business with the senior citizens. You've all done a great job, and we do appreciate it. That's not why I'm here tonight. I'm not a representative of that organization. I am a member of, okay? When I leave here on the first Tuesday of every month, I go straight to the center to the dance. We have a live band 2 nights a week, two nights a month, first Tuesday and third Tuesday. Live bands sponsored by Andy's Tire and Woods Furniture. We have a lot of fun, and my whole purpose in being here tonight is to invite all of you to come to the dance. That's it.
Donna, appreciate you very
Hey,
much.
listen, I know you probably don't have your wives here, so there's another one in a couple of weeks.
Appreciate you, Donna. That's great. Next item on the agenda is the mayor's appointments for TERS board members. We're gonna have to postpone that again until, we're gonna do it after the CETA board meets and appoints their new member. Next item on the agenda is consider approval of an MOU between city and city of Granbury for Granbury Regional Radio Network access. Been hearing about this for over a year.
Yes, sir. In fact, just barely over a year, we were graciously approved by all of you, the regional radio, us to join the regional radio network, and this is one of the final stages. We're a little bit ahead of schedule. We hope to go live soon, and I can tell you, Mr. Mayor, it can't come soon enough. So last Thursday, one of our female officers and her rookie were involved in a violent struggle in one of the doors of Walmart with a violent felon, as another violent felon was fleeing and pursued to south of Hamilton by the Highway Patrol. Part of a crime spree out of Killeen, and they were not able to get on the radio and call for help. 2 citizens helped them subdue that subject, and luckily no one was injured, including the subject in that violent encounter. And so it keeps me up all night, and this is one of the final aspects of that, is basically in a simplistic terms, this is, Granbury is our Verizon, our AT&T, our network provider, and this MOU allows that switch to be turned on to where hopefully by February we go live with our radio system, and when the officer, all they have to do then is hit a button, and they won't have to even say anything, but actually turn the radio on, and you can hear the struggle that they're involved in, and they can talk as they're dealing with the subject. So this is the final step of that. As more agencies and counties and regional agencies in this area join, our fees will go down. But it is that final step in that MOU between us and the city of Granbury to go live.
Well, the story you told the first night when you discussed this was in a work session.
Yes,
And
sir.
the idea that you were in a chase
Yes, sir.
by yourself and you had to use your cell phone to communicate back with the police department, that was pretty
Yes, sir.
bad. So, has the fees gone up? Is the MOU the same?
No, this is all budgeted. We're within budget and everything, and nothing has gone up. We hope it will go down again as we work for other, including other local ones to join. We have some volunteer fire departments and continue to work with the county daily to hopefully someday expand that network, and so that the fees will continue to go down.
Any questions for the chief? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
Mayor, I move that we approve the MOU between the city of Stephenville and the city of Granbury for the Granbury Regional Radio Network access.
Second.
Have a motion in 3 seconds. That's a good one. Any further discussion? Proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed, motion passes. Next item, inventory management system.
Yes, sir. As we work toward our accreditation, as we work toward, or as we expand, as we grow, there's a lot of sensitive property that we want to account for and be able to do that via information technology, IT. So in our cost, this year, we were able to already identify cost savings with other software contracts and able to come up with just about $3,000 or so there to go to inventory management, a sensitive property software. We would like to do that. And so it was not budgeted, but we are not asking for any additional money within our current budget. We're just able to do that contract with money savings.
Questions for the chief? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor, make the motion, we approve the agreement with Innova Zones for electronic inventory management at $3,670.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next item, consider approval of an MOU with Tarleton State University for stormwater drainage improvements related to a TSU Convocation Center project. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. Mayor, council, good evening. Very excited to visit with you this evening about this item. This is a memorandum of understanding with Tarleton State University for drainage improvements related to the Harbin Drive Improvements Project. It's no secret that the university is looking at a convocation center there at the university. What they have asked is to put that center on top of Tarleton Street. Well, we just laid a storm drain line down Tarleton Street. So the university has volunteered to relocate that line at cost, as well as upsize it and pay for all of those costs, including the design, the redesign cost, not to exceed $28,000. The cost of the construction to lay that line in and by the way, I think it went from a 42 or 48 inch to a 60 inch line, is $534,397.50 based on the numbers that we got from J Mills. It also includes $200,000 to the city as part of the original scope of work, and provides $50,000 in contingency funds that they can approve without having to come back before this body.
I'm proud of the relationship we have with Tarleton. They've been very good in this project.
They've been
Really
fantastic to
very
work
much.
with.
Really
Just an
have.
outstanding partner.
This project started, I think, as a Jason, for $600,000, $500,000, and now they're up to 1.7,
6, yes, sir.
1.6. They've been a good partner in this project.
Yes, sir.
Questions for Nick?
Do we have any concern the redesign cost will exceed the $28,000?
We do not. I've got that in writing from our design consultant, so we will hold them to that number.
Perfect.
This MOU has been signed, if I may add one more thing. This MOU has been signed by the university and reviewed by our city attorney as well.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On the, I guess the MOU, it says the water drainage line under Turner Street.
Yes.
Is it, I thought you said Tarleton Street.
So the original plan called for the storm drain line to be laid under Tarleton Street.
Okay,
That happened.
okay.
Now, in order to place this construction project on top of Tarleton Street, we need to move that storm drain line so that we don't have a storm drain line underneath the building.
So, well, I know the streets in that.
You
So
do know
just
that
so-
Walmart has a stormwater underneath it, not Walmart, Walgreens.
Under the parking lot, I believe. I hope it's not under the building.
It's on the building. Any other further questions? Do I hear a motion?
Mayor, I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding with Charlton about the installation of stormwater drainage line on Turner Street as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second, further discussion? Proceed to vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed, motion passes.
Need to note that Councilman Reisman abstained to that, if he'll have one of your forms. if you
Okay.
haven't already.
So it was not unanimous, but it was with that unanimous because the one was abstention. Next item, consider expenditure of a grant award from Firehouse Subs. Chief, tell us about your money.
Mayor, council, good evening. We're not asking permission to expend $29,000 that Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation has so graciously granted us for the replacement of one of our rescue tool sets. And they have already sent the money over, and we've got all the paperwork, and we just would like to spend that money and replace those
What's your
tools.
problem?
There's no match. The tools that it's replacing is 15 years old. We have two sets of tools, rescue tools, respectively about 10 and 15 years old. So this is going to replace the older set. And we're very, very proud to be the recipient of that award. And
Thank you, Firehouse.
Yes.
Questions for the chief? Do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the expenditure of grant award from Firehouse Subs.
Second.
A motion and a second, proceed to vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed, motion passes.
Thank you.
sir. Next item, we're gonna be here for a while. Steve?
Actually, since it's the new year, I think I can go pretty quick tonight. Mayor, council, appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. We have basically 4 items for your review. First one is case number RZ 2022-021. Applicant Ophelia Mosby, representing Mowace Communications LLC, is requesting a rezone of College Farm Road from industrial to multifamily R3. This is part of City Edition Block 91, part of Lot 1. This may sound familiar to you. It was on the agenda for November. We had to pull it, and the reason we pulled it is because the property was actually conveyed during the process and the deed was recorded at the county, and when that was recorded, it changed the legal description. So we had to go back to P&Z. We went back in December, and P&Z reviewed the rezone request and voted 4-2 to approve the rezone, make a recommendation to council to approve the rezone. You may recall that it takes a 2/3 vote now by ordinance to make a favorable recommendation for a rezone request. We did have the 2/3 vote through P&Z. So with that, be glad to answer any questions. We do have The Mosby's here with us tonight, drove all the way in from Houston, and they're planning on doing about 24 roughly beds at this location, once approved, if approved. And thank
We'll
you.
give you an opportunity to get up, and if you'll give us your name and where you're from, and we'll give you an opportunity to kind of tell us about your project. We're glad you're spending money in our town.
So my name is Ophelia Mosby. This is Elmer Mosby, my husband, and also my business partner. We have a student that, we visited Stephenville, actually back in the 90s. We have one of our son's nephew that we raised, played for Tarleton back then. And so now we have a younger one that's also transferred for football purposes. So we've been in and out of Stephenville also. We saw the improvement, we fell in love with the community, wanted to be a part of it. So we were blessed enough in order to acquire this property, looking at multifamily. Having a student in the dorm, you kind of get to hear a lot of things, and we figure out how can we be a part of the community and add value to it. We figure out maybe multifamily housing for students, and this property became available. So we spoke with Mr. Steve. It is a zone at this point in time, industrial. The property is suited. There's a duplex directly across from our property that we have on the table right now. About maybe half a block around it is another apartment complex there. So we thought that would be a good place as well to kind of see how we can be part of the community. If anyone, we are available here to answer.
You gonna let him say anything?
Well, she's the boss, so
Okay,
I
we got
go after her. But one thing that we just love the community, and we want to be a part and a permanent attachment to the community. We have also some other ideals of furthering our, as we say, involvement here. And also Todd and I played together when he was in college. But thank you all so much for hearing this for us.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Mr. and Ms. Mosby? Hearing none, thank you very much. Hearing none, we'll enter into a public hearing. Does anybody want to speak in favor of the applicant? Hearing none, want to speak in opposition to the application? Could you state your name and your address and?
Mayor, while she's approaching, I did fail to mention we had 2 letters of opposition
Okay.
for P and Z. They were not submitted for tonight. They were submitted for P and Z.
Okay, we'll let you, if you want to talk about those in a minute.
Basically, I believe that you may be one of them. Yes, ma'am. 2 letters of opposition, basically, just, one was concerned about the College Farm Road being a little narrow. The other was concerned about just the fact that it's a R3 project in a zone that will be future of R2.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you'll get up and state your name and your address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Mayor Cancel, thank you for your time. Deborah Davinow, my address is 620 College Farm Road. I'm next door to the property that this was surveyed out of. The future zoning map is, the plans for that area is for R2. And I know there's a purpose in having those future zoning maps, and this does not fit in with that zoning. This is R3 they're asking for. It's a lot higher density. There is a duplex across the road from it. It's been there a long time. The area is mostly rural. It is a very narrow road where you enter into College Farm Road from Graham Street. Cars have to wait because only one car goes through there at a time. So cars have to back up and wait for somebody to come through. I don't think that road's equipped for more traffic for another apartment complex, and I don't know where they're gonna park either, because it's just a less than an acre lot.
You might have any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your time. Thanks for coming and speaking to us. Yes, ma'am? Again, say your name again, so because it'll be recorded.
Ophelia Mosby. And in terms of the parking, we have approached the fire department, kind of looking at their requirement, what will it take? So part of our planning will include sufficient parking, because that will be required by the fire marshal, as well as the geotech doing the drawing. One of the companies in town will absolutely be involved in planning out the entire project in order to be in legal standing with the city. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
I have a question for Steve.
Yes.
Mr. Killen, she mentioned that there was an apartment complex close by. I don't see on the current zoning any R3.
Yes, sir. And she's correct. If we would have zoomed out a little bit on that map, we would have seen, you can see a little sliver of pink there on the future land use. But you may recall when you work west along the railroad, we do have some properties that were recently rezoned to PD for townhome type properties. So, and then of course, east of here is the complex on Lincolnville Highway. But it is, we are zoomed in a little tight for you to see that. And
But it's several parcels away from.
that is correct, yes, sir.
Other questions? Hearing none, having no more, anybody want to testify? I'll close the public hearing. Consider approval of ordinance rezoning property located at 0 College Farm Road, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Parcel number R77880 being .809 acres of the city addition block 91, lot 1, part of the city addition to the city of Stephenville, Erath County, rezoning from industrial to multifamily residential district R3. Do I hear a motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the zoning request from industrial to R3.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Steve, as the traffic analysis, will this require a traffic analysis?
Yes, sir.
Associated with it?
It will require a TIA.
If there is concerns about the width of the road, what happens then?
It's a
Or
great
the
question.
capacity of the road?
So the developer would possibly be required to improve their portion of the roadway. What we do with the remainder of that would be determined at a later time, I guess, by staff and city council action. As these properties have been replatted along College Farm Road, and we've had several over the past few months, we are asking for the additional right-of-way dedication. So as the properties develop through there, we're obtaining that right-of-way and hopefully be able to widen that street as needed when the traffic increases.
And then in regards to concerns about parking, I'm assuming that no variances would be considered as it relates to this,
This
especially
would
with the
require,
parking issues we've had recently with R3.
No variance, sorry to step on you there.
That's right.
No variance requests have been submitted, and this will require on-property parking.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I'll just say I'm gonna support the change, but it's currently zoned as industrial. We could do just almost anything there other than residential, the way it's currently zoned. And so this is going to be a more restrictive zone than the way it is currently zoned.
Other discussion? See the vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion, all opposed?
No.
Well, motion passes. Thank you, sir. Next item, Steve.
Yes, sir. Case number RZ 2022-026, and actually PP 2022-002 will not require council action necessarily. RZ 2022-026 is applicant Casey Rates with RF Land Holdings. He is requesting a rezone with simultaneous approval of a preliminary plat located at 0 Collins Street, which is 5.29 acres of city addition, block 65, which is part of lot 1. Mr. Rates, the property is currently zoned B1. He is requesting a rezone to R1, which is compliant with future land use. He has provided us a plat, and he is looking to build 10 single-family lots, and that's illustrated roughly on the map showing the water and sewer lines. You might see or notice on the water and sewer utility map, there are 2 sewer lines traversing this property, and we've worked with him to make sure that those easements are provided and that we have adequate access to those easements. This is also a flood zone area, and he is making his street to serve these 10 lots a private street. And then he will have lot 10, which is in your packet in the plat, down a few pages,
that particular parcel or plat shows Lot 10 as being common area. And so Mr. Rates and I have discussed with the development team that with the common area and the private road dedication or private road, that he will have to establish an HOA. Planning and Zoning Commission voted to approve and make a recommendation to the City Council to approve the rezone. And with the simultaneous approval, they also approved the preliminary plat with conditions. That does not require City Council action. However, if you do not approve the rezone request tonight, then the preliminary plat would also be rejected for failure to obtain the rezone request approval. So with that, be glad to answer any questions. Mr. Rates is here tonight if you have any questions regarding development. Thank you.
Any questions?
So Steve, since he's going to make this a private road, what impact to the city, if any, given that the sewer lines would be buried?
The sewer lines, if he paves over them, and if he paves over into the easement, and any maintenance would have to be done, then he would be responsible for the repairs. Generally, the city partners with that, or sometimes I understand we'll pay for it if we're having to get in and do repairs, even though there's concrete or asphalt over our line. But we would have access to get in there and do the repairs as needed. And Mr. Rates is fully aware of that easement agreement.
Other questions? Hearing none, we'll enter into public hearing. Make sure I understand, Steve, which ones are it's the 026 and 002 are both in the public hearing?
The only action required for you is on the rezone request.
Which is case number, it's just the rezoning portion, which is number 9.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So enter into public hearing on case number RZ 2022-026 and 2002-002. Anybody want to come speak in favor of the applicant? Want to speak? Anybody want to speak in opposition? We'll close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make the motion to approve ordinance 2023-0-47.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed, motion passes. So that's all you have tonight, Steve, right?
No, sir, not quite yet.
Okay. I told you you're gonna have half the meeting.
Sorry, I'm lost my place here, so I'm trying to catch back up where I'm at. We have an abandonment of an alley for consideration, and that is, you may recall that we had some rezone cases up in the Ivy area, and this is, we had four parcels come in for a rezone, and it is for an R3 case, and there's an alley that runs through those 4 properties, and we got a survey of that alley, and the developer is asking for the council consideration to consider abandoning that alley so that he can place his R3 project on this Ivy Elm area property. And let me see if I'll give me just a minute, I'll scroll down here, see if we can get a map of that. I apologize, my laptop died, so I'm working from my phone here. It's basically 4 parcels. This alley runs directly through the 4 parcels. And if we abandon the alley, there's currently no water or sewer in the alley at this point. There is a sewer line that traverses the property. However, the applicant is Mr. Bo Mayo that has requested the rezone, and he is aware that the easements would have to be maintained for the sewer lines that traverse the property. And so with that, we're asking that staff consider, thank you, there it is. We're asking that staff's requesting that the council consider initiating action to abandon the alley bordered by Elm, Bates, and Ivy Street. And if you agree or initiate action to abandon the alley, it would go to Planning and Zoning Commission for a public hearing, and then the Planning and Zoning Commission would make a recommendation back to City Council. Thank you.
Any questions for Steve?
I apologize, Steve, that may have been the part that you were just explaining, but, so where does the property line then begin or end once the alley's abandoned?
So he owns basically all of the lots surrounding, there's one property owner that owns a lot to the corner, basically lot 10. The blue shaded alley, the blue shaded area is the alley in question. And he owns basically everything around that alley. That alley extends all the way up through the neighborhood to Lincolnville Road.
Oh, he owns lots one
But he
through
owns the
5 and
lots that
9
surround,
through
yes, sir.
6.
Everything but 10, is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
everything around, yes, ma'am. So he owns practically everything in that area.
Do the
except
property
for-
lines go down the middle of the alley?
They should extend to the center point, yes, sir. So the
property-
city owns the alley, let me rephrase that. The city owns the alley.
Okay.
Property owners would be responsible to the center point of the alley. But we own the alley, and if we initiate the abandonment of the alley and actually sold the alley to the adjacent property owners, then that would just allow his footprint for his project to incorporate that alley. Right now, you'd have to build around it, obviously, because he couldn't construct over city-owned property.
And Steve, there are no utilities in the alley
No
at the present time?
utilities in the alleyway.
Is it a used alley?
No, sir.
It's not, it's just there on
It's,
paper.
and if, on the Bates side, there's actually development over there, and the property on the northeast corner would still have access from that area if the alley is abandoned. So Mr. Mayo's properties are the ones that are mostly affected.
But the property owner of lot 10 would have first shot at purchasing.
That is correct. If we abandon the alley and we initiate the sale, then each adjacent property owner would be given the opportunity to purchase their proportional share of the alley. And if they don't exercise that, then Mr. Mayo could then purchase the full portion.
Other questions? What you're saying is number 11 doesn't work if number 10 didn't get approved.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Do I hear a motion?
Mayor, move that we initiate actions to abandon the alley located east of Ivy, west of Bates, south of Bell. Second.
A motion is second. Further discussion? Proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed, motion passes. Number 11.
So the next case is, or it's not a case, actually, it's a consideration of a revision to city ordinance. You might recall, R 2.5 was discussed about a year and a half ago. We passed R 2.5, and it had a provision, which is paragraph 12, highlighted there for you, which basically made the R 2.5 process mimic the plan development process, where the P&Z and city council could make minor adjustments to the zoning requirements with a site plan being submitted for your review. One of our staff members that sits on that end of the horseshoe pointed out that probably was not the best approach, and so we discussed it with our city attorney. And this does provide for a mechanism that none of the other zoning ordinances are given. So the recommendation is that we strike paragraph 12, and any variance relating to the zoning requirements would be required to go through the Board of Adjustment, just as any other zoning district would be required to do. And so with that, we did go to public hearing with Planning and Zoning, received no input on that, and Planning and Zoning, the commission offered a unanimous recommendation to council to approve and I guess repeal paragraph 12 of this ordinance. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Questions for Steve? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
There's, Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
move that we strike paragraph 12 from our zoning ordinance, our proposed, make this a proposed revision of the zoning ordinance.
I have a motion and a second. Proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Whew. Ms. Durfee, Tourism and Visitors Bureau Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a committee meeting earlier this evening and had a Zoom call with Charlie Diggs to discuss the event sponsorship for Buckles and Bugs. He is anticipating said his goal was to have 4,000 people. Last year we had 2,800. Councilman McClinton asked about some tracking to see who was here and what they were spending and how much, and Mr. Diggs has offered to actually hire people to stand at the gates to take down zip codes and information on where they're staying and different things. And so I would like to recommend that we sponsor the Buckles and Bugs at the $25,000 membership for 2023.
So I'm assuming that's a motion,
I'm sorry, yes, sir.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, sir. No, sir. Go ahead.
Gerald, age before beauty.
Well, one of the things that was discussed in committee and everything, and thank you, Lynn, for bringing out the part about Mr. Diggs and him putting people at the together data for us. I really feel like that it's really important for the council in the future to have that kind of data, but perhaps to take it a step further, because there are estimates that can be made in tourism related fields. We can get cell phone data information. We can actually survey the people like he's talking about, and we can also find out very closely what the hotels are doing. Obviously, we can get that information, but I'm sure that our tourism person can, with the direct relationship with the hotels, can certainly find out exactly how many beds and heads and beds that we're putting out there. I think that's important for us, and just as a note, I wanted to put that on the record.
I agree.
Thank you.
Good. Mark?
He nailed it.
Okay. David, do you have a question?
No,
Anybody else?
Does this still have some of the local partnerships that is this just Charlie?
No, it is just Charlie. It is just Charlie this year.
Do we have a date?
March 4th.
Thank you.
And
It's not
his
during spring break.
headliner this year is Giovanni and the Hired Guns. And then he has 4 other acts, and then a 90s act that he didn't tell us in our meeting. So,
I did ask my daughters on the phone one night who is Giovanni, and they went, Dad, get a life.
Is this, I'm sorry, I missed your committee meeting. Is this, how many days is the event? Is it 2?
it is a one-day event, all day on Saturday. I think it starts at noon on Saturday
Goes to
and
2.
goes until, what's the noise, or 11, I think. He has rented out the entire park for the event. And there was, I think Mr. Trestle is here, can speak to that, but there were no other events in the park that weekend. He is the event for that weekend. They do all set up and tear down and clean up themselves. And any other questions?
And how much was the sponsorship?
$25,000.
And that's out of hot funds?
That's, all of it's out of hot funds, yes, sir. And
Anybody?
he will be marketing for, within 150 miles, major marketing, but then his, social media marketing is all over the nation. And he told us in the meeting that he has hired several influencers from Tarleton that will also be pushing the event as well. So,
Does the rental of the park, does that include the cost for service officers?
No,
Does
sir.
that include their fee?
No.
What's he gonna do for, like, for security and stuff?
He hires.
He hires his
He
own.
hires his own. Well, and then he also hires our,
Yeah.
our police department and fire department. He hires them as well.
Okay. Does that cover any potential costs for Darren or his staff?
The park rental fee should take that into account.
It'll cover that? Any overtime or anything? Do what?
We haven't discussed everything, we just have it on hold right now for them, like we're pending.
All right. And if you rent the park, does the public have access to the park, or
No, whatever he rents, once he rents it, that area is.
what is he
Yeah.
renting?
This time he does want to rent the entire.
All
park.
100 acres?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody else? Have a motion second, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item. You didn't like my joke about January 1st fiscal year?
It's okay.
See what I feel like?
Mayor, Council, this is the budget report for the period ending November 30th, 2022. So 2 months into our fiscal year. Our financial indicators are overall better than we anticipated. For our property tax, we received $342 in the month of November, which is $187,000 decrease over the funds that we collected last fiscal year. However, we're at 10% of our budget, which is only $15,000 less than what we had actually anticipated to be. For our sales tax, we received $904,000 in November, which is $249,000 or 16% more than our funds collected last fiscal year to date. We're at 19% of our $9 million budget. That's $150,000 higher than anticipated, so that covers the small loss, the small discrepancy in our property tax. The revenue collected year to date, the majority of it, 43% is from general fund, 31% is the water and wastewater fund, and 20% is at the landfill. We received 18% of the total budgeted revenues, which is $1.5 million more than anticipated. Some of that is from our taxes, some of it's from our charges for services, debt proceeds and interest income. The debt proceeds is, if you recall, we came to you and requested to purchase a compactor through financing, and so the financing on that, the debt proceeds was $1.2 million. We'll eventually do a budget amendment to tie all that, marry that all together. We don't put it in the budget that way, because if they have the whole expenditure and the revenue doesn't come through, then they've already spent the money. It's always a problem, so we kind of hold that back. We have received $1.8 million more in revenue than last year. Largely that's for charges for services. Once again, the $1.2 million in the debt proceeds and our interest income. The expenditures by fund, most of the expenditures are in our general fund at 38%. Our wastewater was at 27% and landfill is at 21%. We've expended 9% of our total budget expenditures. It's $6 million less than anticipated. Some of that's due to personnel, and a large part of it is due to our capital projects, because they're budgeted as just 1/12, and depends on how the projects flow as to how they spend. We spent $3.5 million more in expenditures than last year, the bulk of which obviously is capital outlay. We got a lot of things going on this year with the East Side Sewer, the well field, Longstreet, Harbin Drive, you name it. For CETA, they've received an overall 21% of their budgeted revenue through November, which is almost $22,000 more than last year. Obviously, the bulk of their revenue is from the sales tax. And CETA has spent an overall 3% of budget expenditures, which is $5,700 less than last year. Are there any questions?
Questions for Monica? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay, Mr. Sanford's daughter told me today that he would keep this to 90 seconds.
And she is, that's why she's the daughter.
and I pay her rent, and I pay her food, and so
I hope she's listening.
she probably is. Happy New Year. Good to see everybody. I love to hear those numbers. Thank you, Monica. It really is fun to hear and see all of the things that are happening, particularly on the sales tax side. I have no control of the property tax. Well, I have a little bit if we can get some things built here, but the sales tax is what we really are looking for. And it was actually noted last November in that month that $125 billion were spent just Thanksgiving weekend alone. So not during the entire holiday season, but during the Thanksgiving weekend. Not just here in Stephenville. Some of that was outside of our area, of course. $125 billion. And, you know, there was some concern about inflation and interest rates and so forth. And some of that was done or was mitigated by the sales, if you noticed, and it was subtle, but if you noticed, there wasn't near as much emphasis on Black Friday, which is typically what happens. It's the day right after Thanksgiving. But there were deals that were spread out over several weeks there. And people took advantage of the deals and therefore actually spent more money than they would have had they not. 37% of the people said they were going to spend less money and ended up spending actually more than what they did. So regardless of what's happening nationally on the interest rates, with interest rates and with inflation, people are still spending their money, which is really, really super cool. I did want to make a quick note that on Buckle and Bugs that we can also provide some data that will help with some of that, with some new and robust software that we have in our budget for this year. So we'll be able to provide some additional data points for you guys to figure out if it's wonderful or if it needs to be changed or whatever else going forward. It needs to be noted that in 5 days it's Elvis's birthday. And I think that's going to be very important. I won't sing or do anything, but I know you all will be celebrating that. But there's a bigger celebration for now, and that's tomorrow. We will be able to finally collectively think about the work that's been done over the last several years over at what is now called the Stable in Stephenville. If you all remember, it was Project Blue for many of you, and some of you that have been in and out or off on the council, off the council, you still probably heard of Project Blue and all of the iterations that it took over time. Well, obviously, there's been a lot of work done. If you drive by on Washington, you see all the wonderful things that are happening over there. And so we're going to do a little celebration tomorrow. And I brought today Vidal Garcia, who is with the development team. He can come on up here, Vidal, if you would, and to address you guys and invite you formally, even though you've already been secretly invited, to tomorrow's event. So, Vidal.
Well, thank you, Jeff, and Happy New Year to everyone. And I am really, really excited to be here. I do joke with some people that it has been a long, short road, pun intended, but it has been an exciting process to get to this point. And tomorrow, to Jeff's point, we do invite each and every one of you and everyone that you can think of to come join in our exciting day. Where we turn our 19 acres into the stable officially for everyone to see and get excited about. Wolf Murphy Road does have an extension that continues into our 19 acres. And again, pun intended, we are excited that this development will in the future pave the way for more and exciting developments to come to Stephenville. So as many of you know here in this room, it's been a team effort to get to this point. And if anyone's been involved with team activities or sports, you know that it takes a team to get to the goal line and to eventually score and win. So this is nothing less than a collective effort. I can think of many meetings that I've had with several of you here and many coffees that we've had to discuss things that need to be discussed. And again, it is an exciting time for us to get to this juncture, and I invite everyone to come tomorrow and celebrate this with us. The stable is a unique development in which we set out the objective to bring a development that was going to be unique in the sense that our objective is to bring dining experience to the city of Stephenville, and our objective has not wavered. We are still on a mission to accomplish what we set out to do. Obviously, there is some adversity and challenges, as Jeff mentioned. You know, you've got the economy and you've got this, that, or the other. But we continue to again, to put it in sports terms, drive hard to the hoop, and we are looking at some really good users to complement what our initial efforts have produced. And so tomorrow, again, is the day that we will celebrate the opening of the stable, and we hope that you can come out. I guess the day following is going to be the official day that the chicken sandwiches will be sold to the public.
I bet they sell 50,000.
So again, thank you so much for all of y'all's support and your help, and we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you.
I want you all to know Vidal has been a great team, part of our team working with us. He's been a hard worker, and I can't ever say it correct, Los Aguilas. Is that close enough?
Yes, that's good.
That's what Tom called it.
Yes.
Has been a good partner as well. It's been a long time coming, but we appreciate y'all's investment and the future investment. Also, Tom, the owner of the business, did say to me one day, find some more property, we want to do some more. So we're looking forward to the future as well.
And I just want to note with Vidal here, and the reason I wanted him to be up here is this project, as I said, went through a lot of different turns and was very difficult to put together early on. But when Vidal stepped in, this project made sense and became a reality. And it was his vision, along with everybody else that was involved, that helped get it to, as he said, to the finish line or to the hoop, depending on which sport we're using right now. But this event tomorrow, we ask that you guys will be there about 8:45. We want to start by 9 a.m. I know it's a morning time, but we need to start by 9. There's a lot of reasons for that are related to sort of the big picture of everything. But if you'll be there by 8:45 at the latest, we will have a number of speakers, very short speakers. Well, you're not short in stature, but short in speech.
Are you saying
To be fair, a couple of you are, including myself. So. But that part will go relatively quickly, but there are some folks that want to be and will be recognized, I should say. And then we will have a bit of a collection of representation through vehicles and Sheriff's Posse and other folks that will kind of officially open the road, if you will, of Wolf Nursery. And this will, as you already have noticed, will expand the city a little bit. It makes it look a little bigger. It's the same footprint, but it makes it look a little bigger, much as we had done at Washington Commons, which, by the way, again, is 100% full, and the very final restaurant is opening up. And by the way, Firehouse, when we were recruiting them, that was one of the first things they wanted to do, Chief, was to help you guys out. So that was a very big deal there. So excited about what's going to happen with those end users here at the stable as well. Any questions?
Related to
Yes, sir.
Wolf Road, Wolf Nursery Road, Brad and Nancy Allen have graciously donated the original Wolf, and Leanne's working with me on that, and we're going to reestablish that in the median on the north side of the road. And for those who don't know, Walt Disney designed the Wolf, actually drew the plans himself, and so that'll be a neat thing for us to put back up. We're going to make it to where the eyes glow and all that stuff as well to help cross streets as an introduction to the road there.
That'd be great.
Appreciate Leanne's help on it.
Well, thank you to the council for all your involvement over the past several years to get this done, and we're very grateful for that. And to Vidal and your team as well. We know it's going to be a great one, and we look forward to the several announcements this year. So.
And yes, there will be a steakhouse. Okay, yes, I can answer 50 phone calls a day, a week, on that one. Okay, will be a steakhouse. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Vidal. Appreciate it. Consent agenda, do I hear a motion?
Mayor, move we approve consent as presented.
Second.
Have a motion, and a second. I'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Comments by city manager.
Mr. Mayor, Council, City Hall will be closed on Monday, January 16th in observance of Martin Luther King Day. Council committee meetings will be Tuesday, January 17th. And then just briefly, I wanted to brief y'all on a meeting that the mayor and I had in Austin on December 15th with the Lisi Communications. Specifically, we wanted to discuss with them gaining their help with TxDOT Aviation on the runway extension project, and then also with the Federal Infrastructure and Jobs Act that was passed at the federal level last year. Funds were made available for general aviation airports. To date, between last year and what's earmarked this year, it's about $280,000 out there that's available for our airport. But we're a pass-through state, which means that the money goes from the feds to the state and they administer it. In this case, the state has told the federal government they're not going to administer it, and the federal government has no mechanism to deal directly with us. So we've asked for their help in trying to find not only a resolution for us, but all general aviation airports in the state. Also asked them to work with TxDOT on long-term planning and action projects for our state roadways within the city. We're overdue for some of that. Also asked them to look for funding from different state agencies that could assist us with some of our local projects, and to continue to work with TCEQ and us on our landfill permit process.
Questions? Leanne?
I just wanted to say I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year, and there was, every time I came downtown, there were tons of people shopping local, eating local, just walking around enjoying the lights and everything. I just want to say thank you to everybody that was a part of our beautiful Christmas downtown, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful 2023.
I would like to echo that and thank you to your committee and to the Main Street folks that led to great events during the Christmas time. If you get a chance to get out to the Erath County Junior Livestock Show this week, opportunity to support some kids that are doing some great things in this community and really bringing a lot of value and learning a lot about economics.
Just to be real quick, my wife was really happy she didn't have to leave town to do Christmas shop this year.
Bob?
I really kind of second what Leanne said. I hope everybody had a good holiday, and that the new year turns out well for all of us.
Congratulations to all of the newly elected county officials that were sworn in this morning, and the ones that were sworn into another term, a second or third, or I think one of them was their sixth term. So congratulations to all those officials.
David?
You know, being this far down, everyone says what I want to say before it gets to me. Next time, let's start from this direction.
We might do beat it before eight.
I want to echo Ricky said. Congratulations to all the elected and re-elected county officials. Myself, as well as some of the other council members and city staff, attended that today, and it's awesome to witness. If you've never seen it, you know, I suggest next time there's election, you actually go and see them get sworn in and see their hard work pay off. And then also, like Justin said, if you're able to get out to the County Livestock Show this week, please go out and support our local youth. Thank you.
Gerald?
Just quickly, ditto to everything that's been said so far.
See, it's
I mean,
hard
it's just
all the way
really
down
great.
here.
Yeah, we're down here at the end. It also makes it really easy. One of the things I would like to mention is the fact, as we start the new year, I mean, we hear so much stuff on the news and everything. It's negative, you know, they can't get along in Washington. The world is a mess and all that kind of stuff. Remember this. Tomorrow is another major step for the community. Thanks to Vidal, his company. It's another positive thing. We've heard some more positive today. A new housing going in, which we need. We've got a lot of positive things going on here. My goodness gracious, we got $53 million on the capital improvements plan. Budgeted. So these are all positive things. Economic development is local. It really is. We don't have to depend on others for that. It's happening here. Thanks to Tarleton, thanks to the companies that are here, the companies that are expanding in Stephenville, and we should all count our blessings that we live in a place like this. It's a great community, and 2023 is going to be a good year for us. Thank you. Mark?
No comments, sir.
Just a couple items. January 16th is the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Town and Gown Community Breakfast at Tarleton. All the council members have been invited. I encourage you to show up. I've been to, I think, 3 of these now, or 2 of them, and it's a great event, and so I encourage you to do that. And thanks to Darrell Brown for his organization. Second thing is, just some information. Jason and I and Mark attended a meeting in San Antonio, and they were there for about a day and a half, and the most interesting thing of all was the demographics that we got. I just want to give you an idea of what's happening, because people say all the time, can we sustain the growth that's been going on in Steveville? With the stable, with, you know, Washington Commons, and the others that are on the books, or that we're working on the books right now. in the year between, in taking half of the year of 2020 and all, and that's the concurrent part of 21. So in a 12-month period, the United States grew by 390 or so thousand people. The entire United States. 79% of that growth was in the state of Texas. That's 8 out of every 10 new people in this country, births, immigrants, everything, came to the state of Texas. Erath County will likely grow another 5 to 10,000 people every 2 to 5 years going forward. So the question then comes, if we don't have people like Vidal and his company who's investing, we won't keep up. There is no way to keep up with the, what was our capital improvement needs? We got the other 181 million? No, it went to, no, it went to 200.
Yeah, 220, 230, somewhere in that.
$230 million for water, sewer, stormwater. That doesn't count all the other needs we have. The only way for us to dig out of the hole is for us to grow our economy, and that's to do it with people who are investing and building, because we're gonna tax you for that. And then you're gonna bring new people in, you're gonna buy stuff at the stores, and we're gonna get sales tax from that. That's the only way we can make that happen, is for us to grow our economy. And Texas is growing like crazy. As a matter of fact, the largest growth, they put a little triangle on one of the maps, and we're only about 40 miles from the edge of that triangle. For it was, I think, 85% of all the growth in Texas happened in that little triangle, and did not include Dallas-Fort Worth. It is incredible, our growth. Our potential in Stevensville, Texas is enormous. Related to that, the state of Texas has a constitutional amendment that talks about the rainy day fund. Everybody's heard of the big rainy day fund. We got it down to about $6 or $7 billion. Constitutionally, we can't go over 14 billion. I think that's because of the percentage of your total economy. They have replaced that $8 billion in that fund. So now back to 14 billion. And then in addition to that, they think there's gonna be 27 to 35 billion more dollars in revenue that the state's gonna have during the next 2 years that they didn't expect in the last 2 years. So our economy is on fire in Texas. One of the things that you've heard a lot of talk about is ad valorem tax reform. They're gonna address ad valorem tax. I raised Cain, along with our consultant and some others. You cannot hurt small towns. And the intent is that they're gonna look after school district taxes as a way of addressing some of the tax relief. So that's probably not gonna affect counties, probably won't affect, I don't think it'll affect cities. It'll be really somehow of a swap out for public school funding as a possibility. So we have a potential, the future of Texas is great, future of Stevensville is even better. And every one of us ought to be happy, proud to live here, and promote that. That's what Jeff and his staff do every day. Doesn't always do a good job, I mean, some season. We're doing a great job in Stevensville, Texas, I appreciate that. All right, with that, in compliance with the provision of the Texas Open Meetings Law, Subchapter D, Government Code Vernon's, Texas Code annotated in accordance with Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, to wit, real property located in the city addition. We will stand in recess, and we'll be back. Hopefully it's gonna take about 10 minutes. Lincoln City Council meeting. There was no item in executive session to act on tonight, so with that, there's no other agenda item. We'll stand adjourned at 6:54:22. Okay?